the Super Bowl.
Broadcasting from Radio Row inside the Mandalay Bay Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. You are tuned into Sideline Sports Talk Network's The W Show on 100.1 FM, Kansas City. Brought to you by Stockman Law Firm, the Solar Center, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services, Gates Barbecue, Positivity Water, Soiree Steak and Oyster House, The Right Tally Tax Preparation, Dillard's Zona Rosa, KC We Spin 360, Derek Thomas Neil Smith III and Long Foundation, Phenomenal Kids Child Care Learning Center, XC Fright Studio Plush, Sierra Fonseca, hairstylist in New York Life.
Mandalay Bay Convention Center. Great day to be here. We have another great guest that's here with us. Sports journalist Bomani Jones. What's happening, sir?
Hey, man, doing all right. How about you?
Pretty good. What brings you to Radio Row?
Prostituting myself. Walk around, give him a little lip. It's good, but like even right here, it's like you, and you. I do y'all all at the same time.
Whoa, coming in hot.
Hey, man, that is what this is. It's a whole lot of people. You look at it, it's just walking around hoping to get chose. So somebody grab you by the arm and say they want to talk to you for a little bit. You go duck off in their car right quick, make it happen, go on about your business.
Hey, that's Vegas.
That's the perfect way to put it, honestly.
And you have your show, Right Time with Bomani.
Right.
Talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's do a podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, The Right Time with Bomani Jones. We've been doing this now, I guess, about as a podcast for about 6 years. Mm-hmm. Give or take. No, man, it's fun. Just kind of, there's something to be said about the fact that at this point I can kind of just get out here and do whatever I want to do with it. Yeah. And so, however we decide we want to approach this, that's just what we gotta go ahead and do. So if you've seen me do other stuff before, just like imagine if I don't have nobody's boss to deal with. So we're kind of there.
Yeah.
I love that.
No, that keeps me at the workforce. I've been DJing almost 20 years now, and just having a boss is not it's not ideal.
Well, like I could live with the boss part, right? Mm-hmm. Like that part's not so difficult. It's just
as long as they come with the bag.
Yeah, well, but I got a decent gauge on what is and is not like appropriate and cool for you to do and what will or will not get you in trouble. Yeah. And that does not necessarily line up with the risk aversion that a boss is going to have, right? Because they get the phone calls. I'm not the one that gets the phone calls, so I get it. But ain't nobody getting called about nothing no more. So it's cool to be able to do it over in the space that I'm in now.
So talk about this scene in Vegas. Like, obviously, it's bigger. It's a lot more traffic. We've talked about it with other people. Talk about your thoughts first walking into Vegas's Radio Row this year.
Yeah, I guess since it's in Vegas, like you tell somebody, hey, the Super Bowl's in Indianapolis, like you might twist their arm into getting them to come.
Right.
But with Vegas, there's always somebody like, ooh, I'll go. Right. I'll go. Like normally when Super Bowl and stuff comes up and you get people around and they complain about how they've been there too long or whatever. And Vegas got a shelf life of how many days you can be here. But this attracts a much bigger crowd of people just because it's in Las Vegas, and that's somewhere that people gonna want to go regardless.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Now, you, of course, we're here for the game Sunday. Who you got?
So I think Kansas City is going to win, and my logic is, it's not really super scientific. Like they're the team that's got Mahomes, but the last time I said that was that game against the Bucks, and you see how that worked out for me. But I still think in this one, as good as the 49ers are, there's something to be said, and I've just never seen anything really like what I feel like I saw in the game against Baltimore, which is like a quarterback controlling the game almost like a point guard, like running four corners. Like they ran out to a lead, and he just ran out the clock for 3 straight quarters. Yeah. And I've just never seen a quarterback who's been in a position to be able to do that single-handedly, just to control and dominate a game like that. And I think that he could do something very similar in this game, too.
Did it surprise you? They had a lot of ups and downs this year, talking about his stats. He's not the same Pat. The wide receivers can't catch the ball. Or Andy Reid, red zone issues.
But they can't. Yeah. If there's something that can happen is those dudes not catching the ball. But I will give him this. He never turned on them. I sure would have. And he didn't. And you saw it cash in with a lot of those throws that he threw to Valdez. You saw those plays. And that comes from being like, don't worry, I'm going to still get it to you. Your chance is going to come, and I'm going to throw you the ball. When a lot of people would have long ago stopped throwing the ball. Like, I think it was the play, I forget which game it was, where he missed that this easiest one. And Mahomes is like, yeah, I could have thrown it a little shorter so he could have run up under it, and everybody kind of laughed about it. But his thing was basically like, hey, man, look, if that dude can't make those catches, then I need to throw the ball that he can catch. And I think that that's an incredibly mature observation to make, instead of being like, look, you have to do this. Once you really look, these dudes ain't gonna be different dudes, right? Like, they weren't gonna magically get better. They weren't gonna find anybody to be better. So none of us think they're that good. Fine, I gotta play like you play when the dudes aren't that good. And he figured out how to do that.
Yeah. We were talking to Coach Loxley from Maryland earlier, and he was talking about the coaches coalition that he's putting together. And we, of course, landed on Eric Bieniemy. Do you think he has a fit as a head coach at any point, or you think they're gonna just string him along?
Well, I would make the argument, I don't even feel like they're stringing him along. Like, stringing him along would imply that they acting like they're gonna hire him, and they're not. They're not acting like they're gonna hire him.
Yeah.
And I do think that what happens with this, because the issue has been handled so poorly of hiring of black and brown coaches, that you wind up getting some like test case example that everybody uses to point out the problem. And Bieniemy has been that guy for a very long time.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a reasonable example to use because basically all the Andy Reid offensive coordinators get these other jobs. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I would simply like to make the point, and I think it's important to note, it's not like no black people are getting jobs.
Right.
Four
Right.
of them just got
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like we are seeing black people get hired. They're just not hiring that one.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to ask your question as to whether or not the issue is that one. Like, I remember there was one coach in the NBA that every offseason he wasn't getting a job. And it was just like, I don't understand why this guy doesn't get a job. Why can't this guy get a job? Why can't this guy get a job? And I'll never forget, he got that job. He was so sorry. It was ridiculous. Like, it is possible. And you can't, the league doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. So I don't blame anybody for not giving them that.
Right.
But at some point, you do kind of have to look up and ask yourself, it really might be they just don't think this dude's got it. There are other white dudes that wind up in this coordinator space where they don't get to the next level. The difference is they're normally defensive guys. But I think what I don't think helps Eric is that his get down is very similar to a defensive coordinator. Like, he looked like the dude that'll chest bump you when you come off the sideline. And that's not the guy they look to be the head coach.
Yeah.
No matter what the circumstances are.
And you hear the things that come out, or that have come out of DC, you know, with he's coaching us too hard, and
but that ain't why nobody's not going to give you a head coaching job. Right? Like, I don't think that goes as far as people want to make it out to go. But I do think there's probably something that we from a distance don't quite know about what's going on. And we have to keep that part in mind before we go too far.
Yeah, because on social media, you see a lot of people bringing up his past, but I don't even think it's that. And
I mean, that passes a long time ago.
And that's what I'm saying. It's so long ago.
If that were the issue, you wouldn't have people bringing it up. They'd have been telling you. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
They don't want to hire this dude. I don't want to say they don't think this guy can do it, because I don't know if that's the answer. Yeah. They don't want to hire this dude, period.
Craziness.
Wow. Yeah, it is crazy. So your podcast, man, where can people find it?
All right, you can find me anywhere you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff. We got our own dedicated YouTube channel now. Okay. Where you can go check us out. We're there 3 times a week. We run live on YouTube. So in Kansas City, it'll be 11 o'clock Central Time. Mondays and Wednesdays. Fridays get a little wonky about when we get on, but we are there. We are live. We are having a good time, and I recommend everybody come check us out.
What type of show are you talking about, so our listeners know?
I mean, you may have heard it's this really big football game going on right now.
Never heard of it before. Never heard.
I heard about the concert during the halftime.
Oh, and then there's that.
Yeah.
What's your Usher take? Do you got an all-time favorite? Can you give us a little note, maybe?
The Super Bowl should be a good show. I went to see the show in Paris. And the problem that Usher has is this. You ain't got to play all these songs, right? Like, most artists have an understanding that some songs they made weren't the best decisions that they ever made.
Right.
And then we act like that never happened. And you don't do it in concert no more.
It's true.
So the Super Bowl will be short enough that you can leave Good Kisser at home. You can leave Love in the Club at home.
Good Kisser can go.
So what's your all-time favorite then?
I think the radio ruined Good Kisser, but
No. What ruined it is it's silly. Usher's just such a silly man. silly man. Favorite Usher of all of them? Oh, You Make Me Wanna is probably mine, but I'm that age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not young. Like, that's like, ooh, that came out my freshman year of college. Boom, there we go.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there if Bomani can selfishly pick a Super Bowl halftime act,
Ooh,
I mean, I already got it. It was Prince in 06 or January 07.
Yeah.
That was the one. I'm trying to think of like who living am I going with at this point? That's a good question. They pretty much gotten me all the ones that I wanted up through this.
I would say
point.
Jay-Z.
Of course, I mean, if you want to, you really wanted a Jay-Z concert. Because like Jay-Z got a catalog, but Jay-Z as a concert, it ain't
one thing.
He's not bad,
Yeah.
right? But that's not. Nah, I don't need that. I mean, honestly, what they really need to do before it gets too late is, hey man, make peace with Janet. I thought they was going to do that this year.
I think they should.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought everybody was going to get good with. It's 20 years. It was stupid. Like it went way too far. I thought they'd make their peace now.
because she still got it.
No,
At the age
she
of 50
definitely
plus,
still
she
got it.
She
Yeah.
does.
I went to that tour.
Me
so.
too. I was up there.
Q. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Q saying something about Taylor Swift's gonna be next year. That's who he thinks.
I think.
Yeah. What's your Swiftie take?
I think that is.
I have none. I've never listened to a Taylor Swift song on my own. I'm not saying that. I'm not bragging about it. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm so cool because I never have. But I'm not the demo.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten there. I know it's a big deal to all these people. But I mean, my thing on Kelsey has always been, I don't want no woman that might write a song about me. The last thing I want, because if the song is good, don't you worry. The next one will not. I don't need no song to be written about me.
Hilarious.
Bomani, we appreciate your time. Thank you for giving us your
I
time.
appreciate you guys, man. You have a good one.
Thanks,
sir.
Thank you.
That's Bomani Jones. Remember, you can catch us back here in a few minutes with more guests live from Radio Row.
Go ahead, say it then. Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl.
Broadcasting from Radio Row inside the Mandalay Bay Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. You are tuned into Sideline Sports Talk Networks, the W Show on 100.1 FM, Kansas City. Brought to you by Stockman Law Firm, the Soul of Santa, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, Golden Gate Funeral and Cremation Services, Gates Barbecue, Positivity Water, Soiree Steak and Oyster House, The Wright County Tax Preparation, Dillard's Zona Rosa, KC We Spin 360, Derek Thomas Neil Smith III and Long Foundation, Phenomenal Kids Child Care Learning Center,